Ruth retired at 64 with $410,000. She died at 79 with $437,000. 15 years. 15 winters with the thermostat at 66 because the furnace was original to the house and she never found out what a new one cost. Store brand coffee. A 2009 Camry with a check engine light she treated as decorative. A kitchen drawer full of rubber bands sorted by size. Every December telling her son she didn't need anything. She finished $27,000 ahead of where she started. In the bottom drawer of her desk, folded in half, there was a printed itinerary. 9 days in Ireland. $6,200, all in, printed in 2018. Never booked. Here's the part that should bother you. Ruth wasn't confused. She wasn't senile, she wasn't scammed, and she was never once broke. Ruth did exactly what she was told to do for 40 years, and the reward was dying with the receipt for a life she never took. My name is Nick, and I spend an unreasonable amount of time reading retirement data that nobody asked me to read. If you've ever wondered why the people who saved the hardest seem to enjoy it the least, hit subscribe and leave a like, because today we're figuring out why you will almost certainly never spend the money you are currently killing yourself to save. And before you decide this is a video about your parents, understand something. The habit that trapped Ruth doesn't show up at 65. It's the one you're building right now every time you move money into an account you've been told never to touch. The years table that governed Ruth's money already has your name on it. Same table, same math, you're just further up the page. So let's start with the uncomfortable reality. Ruth is not a sad exception. Ruth is the base case. The Employee Benefit Research Institute has been following the same households for decades, watching what retirees actually do with their money rather than what they tell a survey they'll do, which are two very different genres of fiction. And you should know what they found, because it's going to describe you. Retirees who walked in with $500,000 or more spent down 11.8% of it. Not per year. Total, over 20 years. 11.8%. 20 years. They died holding roughly 88% of what they retired with after 2 decades of deciding they couldn't justify the nicer hotel. And it gets weirder, which I promise is the last time I'll say that unironically. Roughly 1/3 of retirees in that data had more money later in retirement than on the day they retired. Not the same. More, they spent 18 years accidentally growing their savings, which is a genuinely impressive thing to do by mistake. Now, you might be thinking this is just what old people are like. Depression-era instincts, thrift as a personality trait. Fair, except the pattern isn't evenly distributed, and where it splits tells you who's responsible. I'll warn you now, it isn't the retirees. In that same data, retirees with a pension saw their savings drop about 4% over 18 years. Retirees without one, holding the same money, dropped 34%. Same age. Same country. Same grocery prices. One group barely touched their savings, the other ate through a third of it, and the only difference was the shape of the income. That's not a personality difference, that's a plumbing difference. And it points at the thing that's actually going to do this to you. Here's the thing about a pension that you never appreciate until it's gone. A pension is a permission slip. It shows up on the first whether you live to 70 or 107, and it doesn't care what the market did in October. You cannot spend it wrong, because there's no principle to accidentally destroy. So your grandfather looked at the check, saw a number, and spent the number. Money in, money out. Simple, your 401k is not a permission slip. Your 401k is a pop quiz you take every morning for 30 years, and nobody ever tells you the answer. Because to spend a lump sum correctly, you need 3 things. What the market returns for the rest of your life, what your medical costs will be, and the date you're going to die. Read that back. We took a job once done by actuaries with mortality tables and entire departments of professionals and handed it to you. A person with a job and a commute. Good luck, don't get it wrong, no do-over. Congratulations on your empowerment, you get to pick your own funds. In 1980, about 38% of private sector workers had a pension. Today, it's in the mid-teens. That didn't change a product. That moved an enormous, unhedgeable risk off institutions that could pool it and onto you. So let's watch somebody sit the pop quiz because your turn is coming. Jean and Denise both retired at 65, 600,000 between them in a 401